Gentlemen, for those of you on the move, we got an enlightening conversation where we explore how pink zebra moving is changing the game in the moving industry. Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real-life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Hi, Business Bros. Today we got a special guest, the visionary behind Pink Zebra Moving. Now he's here to share his secrets on making your move not just hassle-free, but also joyful. We're going to uncover his unique pay enhancement plan and how it revolutionized the moving industry. So get ready for an eye-opening conversation about ensuring that happiness, not regret, follows your next move. Whether you're planning a move or simply interested in the art of delivering exceptional customer service, this episode promises insight and inspiration. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Ron Holt. Yeah, we're off and rolling, man. Welcome to the show.
Man, I'm so glad to be here. That was an awesome introduction. Hopefully I can live up to the intro.
Yeah, no, you definitely will, man. Pink Zebra, you already got a lot of energy. All right, let's start off with the most obvious question. This show's about business, and at the end of the day, people who come on the show want to get their message out. So simply put, as if a fifth grader could understand it, what do you do for a living?
So I actually help aspiring business owners to create their own business, build their own business, in this case, the moving industry, and I take them from idea to hopefully, millionaire. That's my plan. That's our goal every time we open a new franchise somewhere across the country.
So who's the ideal fit here for somebody who wants to maybe open a franchise or get into this moving space? Are we talking like that college kid in the dorm that needs a job, or are we talking a guy who exits a corporation and wants to open up a franchise? Who's your target audience?
It's usually the latter. It could be anyone. Over the years, I'm the founder of two different home service brands. I'll tell the story of Two Maids and a Mop in a little bit, but across both of those brands, we've had doctors to college graduates, just, recent college graduates open a franchise and do great, both cases. And so really what ties everybody together is why they want to be an entrepreneur and what they want that experience to be like. So if you start a business, like any business, doesn't matter what industry or product or service you're selling, there's a lot of pain that goes into those early startup days. And a lot of people connect pain with like money, like the investment, but it's also experiences and just sacrifices that you have to go through and mistakes that you have to make. With a franchise, you pay for the right to bypass a lot of that. You don't want to have to deal with what happens a month after you open. We'll teach you what's coming and how to deal with that and what to do when it happens. And so if you're not wanting to go through that early startup pain, that's why a franchise would be a good opportunity for you. And that's what I love about this business. I get to work with like-minded people, entrepreneurs who really, in this case, want to take over an industry. And, they're not working for me, they're working with us. And we're essentially, even though we're not legally business partners, we act like we are. And we get to talk about the same things and share the same concerns and dream about the same future. It's a beautiful industry. It's not for everyone. If you want to be a cowboy and do it your way, then franchising would be the wrong direction for you. But if you don't want to deal with those early startup pains, that's where we come into play.
Man, systems and processes are the things that a lot of startup entrepreneurs lack, and that's where they tend to fall off. That's where customers fall through the crack, customer service falls down, and ultimately businesses don't survive because, number one, it doesn't mean that the person isn't good at the job. It just necessarily, they don't have anything in place where like all the minutia, the little things where you don't even know are part of the business, all the hats that you got to wear, they tend to give you a lot of burnout at some point. Now, do I got to go to college and get some business degree or something to be able to operate a franchise? Some people think it's like the most complicated thing in the world to build. It can be, but to operate as an owner operator, that's got to be a little bit different. Tell me about your background and what background is necessary to even operate a franchise like yours.
Yeah. So the good news is you don't. Again, we've had all sorts of different types of education levels become franchisees and be very successful. It really is what kind of grit do you have? What the same things you would ask any entrepreneur. What we do as a franchisor with our franchisees, we kind of take you through a college. We're going to take you through a pre-open process. After you're open, we're still going to have a post-open process. We're going to check in. We're going to do audits. We're going to have KPIs that measure everything about your business. We're going to teach and support you. We're going to provide you with strong vendors that you don't have to think. Like if you want to know, well, what insurance do I need? You don't have to think that. Just call our insurance vendor and they'll go, oh, you're the next guy in whatever city. This is how it works. This is the insurance policies you'll need. Give us the answers to these questions. We'll give you a quote. You'll have an insurance next week or whatever. So that's what we do. We kind of franchising basically is college for entrepreneurs.
And that step by step is exactly why people would want to have a franchise versus starting their own. All that is already out for you. Take me back to when you first decided you wanted to become an entrepreneur. I mean, I feel like with your work ethic, you can pretty much work anywhere, but you chose to go out on your own. And you probably didn't have that franchise already set up for you. So walk me through that time. Why become an entrepreneur yourself?
Yeah, so I was like a lot of people. I was inside corporate America. I did well. I actually even traveled the world doing things and seeing things I never thought I'd see. And actually was the manager inside this laboratory in Atlanta, Georgia. And again, living pretty high, making decent money for my age in my early 20s. But there was something missing. I just felt something inside my stomach that would always tell me something's wrong, and so whether it was just long meetings with no results to really hard work that I would deliver without anyone noticing, or other situations where I saw an opportunity to improve the business and the manager above me wanted to protect his or her job and just sort of didn't let that opportunity present itself because it would make that person either look bad or create more work for that person. And so all of those things sort of combined with me finally saying, you know what, I'm not going to force myself to do this. I'm not just going to go through the rat race of adulthood and 30 years from now, look back on it and go, boy, I'm regretful. I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to take a shot. And I felt like the way to do that was through entrepreneurship. And so, I didn't know what kind of business I was going to start. I just knew I was going to start a business at some point. And it took me a few years to figure out what that place was going to be. But it didn't take me long to figure out how much I couldn't stand corporate America. That was not my place.
So let me ask you about that workflow into becoming a franchise owner, or actually creating the franchise for that matter. There are a lot of people who say they want to go out and start a business, and they have that choice. Like you said early on, they could be the cowboy, go do it themselves, or they can start a franchise. And you've kind of been able to experience both in your lifetime. What advice would you give to young people today that are thinking about starting a business? Maybe they don't have the resources to jump into a franchise right away, but they have that entrepreneurial bug and they want to exercise that option.
Well, I can only tell you what worked for me. I tell this to people all the time. It's really up to you to figure out if you can do this, though. So for me, the dream that I had to early on when I started my original brand was called Two Maids and a Mop. Obviously, it was a cleaning franchise. We built that from one location in Florida to almost 100 locations before I sold it a couple of years ago. When I was building that from the ground up, I had such a belief in myself and the vision that I had crafted for my future that I would do just about anything. I worked crazy hours. I put up with a whole lot of stuff. I sacrificed my personal life to invest time and money into the business. Nothing could stop me. What I love about business and entrepreneurship, I'm very competitive by nature. In most competitive environments, there's a winner and a loser. There's a game. The clock ends at 0 and somebody has more points than the other. In business, there's only one way to lose in business, and that's if you quit. Well, I'll never quit because I believe in what I'm doing so much that I'll outlast anyone and everyone. Someone may have more money, someone may be even smarter than me, but I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be there longer. I'm the marathon guy when it comes to running a business, and that's what I've always been so attracted to about the business world is that I can't lose unless I quit. And so you only keep going if you believe in what you're doing. If you believe what you're doing has purpose, and if you believe in what you're doing has a future, then you'll keep doing it. And so I've always just believed in the things that I'm chasing and never quit. Even though there's a lot of reasons, every entrepreneur from Steve Jobs to me, there's there's there are opportunities in an entrepreneur's life and journey to quit. Actually, logical reasons to quit. The only reason you will resist that logic is because your belief is stronger than the logic. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense potentially. In my case, it didn't make sense because it took me 2 years to make a profit. It took me 3 years to earn a paycheck, but I kept going. I'm still doing it today. That's my secret to success. At some point when I say that, someone's got to recognize, someone's got to receive that and then do something. Because that moment when it hits you in the face and logic says quit, you've got to have enough belief and faith in yourself to keep going.
Yeah, that perseverance is the key, the consistency to just get up and keep going. This is what I do. This is how I roll. This is a path to where I'm going to eventually achieve success. And even though, that's the thing about being a business owner or CEO is you could see the vision, even if nobody else can see it. Right. Even if you can't really articulate it very well, you know where you're going. And even on those rough days, because you know where you're going, it makes it a little bit easier to get up. Not easy, but a little bit easier to get up and keep going. Anytime I hear of a business owner that has exited, it's always intriguing to me because some of the biggest mistakes I think entrepreneurs make is they don't have an exit plan when they start their business. They go in with the intention of making money, paying some bills, but not really an exit strategy. And that's one of the reasons why they kind of get bogged down, burnt out, and end up quitting. What were some of the mistakes that you might see young entrepreneurs make, or you saw other business owners kind of making that can prevent them from hitting that exit strategy like you hit?
So I operated Two Maids and a Mop as the founder for almost 20 years, 19 years. Along those 19 years, when I look back on it, I'm really just thinking about this now for the first time. I can't remember the exact number, but I had almost every year, sometimes more than once a year, someone approach me and want to buy the business. I never marketed it. I never had a broker. People just always found me, and as technology improved during that 19-year span, it became more and more prevalent. Received offers from just a few bucks to a whole bunch of bucks later on. And in all cases, kept saying no, 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 even though every single time the offer was very attractive and certainly intriguing. What kept me going was I wanted to reach a certain milestone. And when I hit that milestone, then I would start having those discussions. And so for me, it was 100 locations. Once I hit 100 locations, then I would then start thinking more about what the next future was going to be for me. What I've learned about myself over my lifetime is I have a lot more fun building something than I have maintaining something. And so I felt like the race to 100 locations would all be fast and furious and tons of energy and work. And it's going to be fun, basically. But I felt like 100 plus was just going to be very corporate work. And so that's for me, when I started approaching 100, I started listening to more of those offers and sold the business and then jumped into another brand now, Pink Zebra Movement, and we're doing it all over again.
And now you have the experience with you, right? Now all of a sudden, 19 years to build something that you can sell has really shrunk down. And I like the fact that you have that kind of arbitrary number, right? You created the number. You said my target's 100 locations. It wasn't anybody else's target. That's the cool thing about entrepreneurship and business is kind of you make up the rules as you go, what you want to determine as successful. And I think, when you start going into the franchise space, you kind of get to share that with other people and kind of circumvent the long 19-year push and really give them a head start into the future. You got any cool stories of franchisees that have come in and kind of drastically changed their lives by being able to add this into their business portfolio?
Oh my gosh, I got a great one for you. So in the DC area, this early on, we had a franchisee there who wasn't local to DC, lived somewhere else, but really liked the market because it's DC. And so they said, "Let's do this. I want to buy this franchise. Let's go." So they hired a manager. Things didn't work out real well, and for several months, this business, I wished it would have went sideways. It actually went in the river. It went down. We just didn't have any success there at all. And this was early in our brand's growth, and so it was actually a little. We were kind of nervous because we were not really growing like we thought, and everywhere else we had. And so we diagnosed that there were some real issues with ownership and just not being able to invest the time. And so thankfully, that owner decided to sell the business. And when they sold the business, we brought in another couples, two partners, and they lived in the DC area, so they're going to be more active. They came to me and they said, "I want this business to change my life. What do you think it'll do?" And I said, "Well, that's why I'm here. I want the business to change my life as well." And so at the time, they both had day jobs, very young parents, and everything was in front of them. Over the course of the next several years, I guess now close to 10 years, they have went on to open 8 different Two Maids and a Mop locations, not all in the DC area. Their life has changed in such a tremendous way that they're able to travel the world. They homeschool their children. And so while they travel the world, they're also educating their kids, which was always their dream. And while they're doing that, they're making money in these 8 different locations. And it all started, with a business that at one point was failing. It wasn't working, and so proof that ownership really makes a really huge difference when it comes to any business, much forget franchise or not. So that's one. I got so many others. That's the beauty of franchising is you get to find people in a place where they have big dreams and hopes, and then you get to see that come to life over the course of the next several years. It's really fun and exciting, and makes you feel like you're doing something that does change people's lives.
Heck yeah, that's dramatically changing people's lives. And I don't know about you, but like when I'm in the classroom and the kid's light bulb goes off and they finally get it, like that's one of the reasons why I get up every day and I like to do this thing. For you, I'd imagine when you sell a franchise, that's great. You get the cash, you get the growth in the location, but to really see them succeed, to take their lives and transform them, that's got to be one of the greatest feelings in the world. There's so many different franchise opportunities out there today, but people are coming to you specifically. Why? What qualities do you have? What is it that you bring to the table that they come to you and say, "Look, this is a franchise I want to operate in. How do I get started?"
Yeah, most people think it's all about the dollar bills, right? Like you want to buy a franchise, if you got the money, you'll do it. I don't know how other brands operate, but in our world, you do have to have the financial qualifications to even have the conversation with us. But that's very early. That's the first inning of the discovery process for us. After that, all the other things are more qualitative. What is your life experience? What's brought you here? What's your why? Why a moving company? Why a franchise? What are you going to do once you own this business? What happens the first time your manager quits or is fired for some reason? What happens when you hit a certain milestone, revenue mark? And do you want to keep going? Do you want to go take over the world? Or are you going to be comfortable at that plateau? Like all those questions are going to be asked during a several week, usually anywhere from 8 to 12 week process where we're just interviewing they're interviewing us too, but we're interviewing the franchise candidate to determine if they're a good fit here. For us to do what we're doing, our brand here at Pink Zebra Moving, our goal is to be the world's first happy moving company. We think we're going to actually disrupt this really antiquated old school industry by delivering really unique and remarkable customer experiences. So we have systems, we have process, we have great technology. All of those things are sort of fundamentals. But what we don't have that franchisees have to provide us is the grit, the belief in what we're doing. You can check a box and say you did a system, but if you don't know why you check the box, and if you don't believe in what you're doing that check the box, then that's going to come off in the spirit of it. Customers are going to feel that. Your employees are going to feel that. And so we look really hard at people to make sure that they're going to be the right fit, because for us to truly change this industry, people are going to be the reason behind that. Systems and process are the fundamentals, but the real tipping point is going to be the heart, the culture that we have built here as a brand.
At the end of the year, I always like to show the movie The Founder to my students, and there's a perfect example in there where he's grabbing people to buy these franchises, and then he walks up to one of the McDonald's locations, and they're like serving chicken, and they put like lettuce in their hamburgers, all kinds of different stuff, and it's not operating the way it's supposed to. They're trying to cowboy a franchise, and it's not doing the thing that it's supposed to do, but as a business owner, you're always trying to improve things. And I feel like you're doing that because you're trying to make it better for your customer. You're trying to make it better for your organization. You're trying to improve and be more efficient as a business. That's how you get better down the road. What are some of the things that you feel you're doing over at Pink Zebra that are helping improve either the franchisee's experience or the customer experience to kind of differentiate yourself?
Yeah. We'll talk about the customer side because that's really fun. Some of the stuff we're doing is so far out there that it's a little harebrained in some cases, but it's so much fun doing it. It's so much fun seeing a customer smile and actually look forward to. You ever thought about looking forward to hiring a moving company? Our customers look forward to hiring us because of some of the crazy things we do. So we think we think moving is like a theater, like a stage. And so we use that as an opportunity to literally entertain our customers. So before, during, and after a move, we're always trying to engage directly with our customers. Some of the things that we actually do, the probably thing we're most known for is the night before a move. We provide a free meal to every single one of our customers. It's a surprise. It's usually, American style food, nothing crazy, but it's still free food. And it's from your moving company of all people. And so the night before a move, people are stressed, they're worried, they're probably even working, packing and preparing for the next day. And here we come with, a pizza or whatever it might be. That small gesture goes a long way to building a really tight bond and relationship with our customers. Some of the more fun antics that we do, before the move begins, there's a walkthrough throughout the house. After the walkthrough is finished, which only takes a few minutes, we put on like an exercise routine, whether you're doing push-ups, jumping jacks, running in place, whatever. The guys sort of get their day started with a funny sort of exercise routine, always gets customers sort of laughing. We play music throughout the house. If you've ever hired a moving company, you may remember the awkward silence that comes with that. And these strangers are in your house with earbuds on, and you don't know how to act, even though it's your house. So we just play. And that's, again, simple little thing, but that simple little thing goes a long way because all of a sudden music brings people together, and so people have danced together, sung together. Certainly a lot of videos that have been out there with our movers dancing and singing with our customers. We leave a surprise box behind. That surprise box is filled with all sorts of goodies, usually personalized goodies. If you're a big, let's say, Notre Dame fan, but you live in Georgia, randomly, then we're going to use that to our advantage. We're going to get all the Irish stuff we can get. We're going to throw it in that box and say, go Irish, and throw a leprechaun sticker in there. Customer's going to know that. Customer's going to feel that and go, wow, my moving company knew I like Notre Dame. And so those are that's not everything, but those are some of the highlights of some of the things we do for our customers. Now, a whole nother story about franchisees. Franchisees want education and support and training, and they want a profitable business model. You give those guys that, they're going to be happy. And so before we could ever even offer this as an opportunity, we had to make sure this was scalable and profitable. So for us, that's the ultimate experience for a franchise owner is 1, 2, 3 years after you opened it. Are you making money? Are you growing? And has it changed your life for the better? So if the answer is yes, then they're going to be on top of the world. They're going to love us.
That's customer experience is the biggest thing. They always say that, your relationships are what really sets you apart in business. They get you the referrals, they get you the social media likes, they get you everything you need to if you have those relationships in place. And I agree with you, man. Everybody's moving the night before, their dishes are packed, everything's put away. A meal is a great little cherry on top to that customer service. And I'm a fan of the music too. I mean, all kinds of cool, great stuff. Where do you see as the CEO, you have that vision going forward. Where do you see your company going from here?
So it's pretty exciting time. We're going to double our footprint in the next 2 months. It's going to be a crazy 2024 for us. Not even 2024. 2024 first quarter is going to be nuts. And so right now we're in 9 locations. We'll be in 17 by the end of February of next year. Our plan is to open somewhere between 15 to 20 new locations per year. that is ambitious, but it's something that we think's possible. We've got the infrastructure to do it. The market is really excited about what we're offering. Almost everyone that we talk to understands how we position ourselves in the marketplace. And so there's a lot of excitement behind that. When you couple that with an industry that's pretty tight in terms of longevity, like it's going to be very difficult for AI to become a mover. It's going to be hard for there to be a robot out there doing the job. People are still going to be a huge part of this industry for a very long time, in my opinion. And so people see that. Franchisees understand that. It's easy for them to understand this industry. And then whenever they hear about what we do with our customers to make the service stand out and be unique, then they get very excited. And so we've got a lot of folks out there across the country that are really dying in some cases to become our next franchisee. And so we're having to, in some cases, turn people down, So we'd rather be in that wheelhouse of 15 to 20. We feel like we could probably even grow faster than that, but that would also mean we would probably make some bad decisions. So 15 to 20 a year, that's our hope. That's our plan. So far, we're on a great pace for that.
So do you have an arbitrary number this time for exiting this company at any point in the future?
So it's not a number. So this one's a little different for me. My daughter, my youngest child, is an 8-year-old girl. And so what I want her to, this is going to sound very, I don't know what it's going to sound like, but I want her to see dad go to work. So for a period after I sold Two Maids and a Mop, I didn't go to work. I took the kids to school, did all the things, I was super dad. But there was one day I was driving to work and she said, "Dad, why don't you work?" So I'm like, I'd sold the business, made really a lot of money, if I'm being honest, and was really proud of that exit and knew that it affected not just me, but my children's lives later on. But she didn't realize, that's not what she saw. She saw a dad who didn't go to work. And so I said, okay, I got to do something about that. And I was slow rolling Pink Zebra Moving at the time. I fast tracked that and said, I got to get back into work gear and go to work every day. And so I'm going to do this until my daughter graduates high school at the very least. And so we'll see what happens after that. But that's a good, obviously 9-10 years from now. And so over the next 9 to 10 years, I cannot wait to see what we do to this industry. I truly want to disrupt this industry. We call ourselves the world's first happy moving company. My dream is for one day a consumer to ask their neighbor, "Hey, did you hire one of those old school movers, or did you hire one of those new school guys, the ones that make people have fun, the happy movers?" So we're the world's first happy mover, and we think down the road there's going to be a whole bunch of us, and we're the pioneer. We're the folks that revolutionized it.
I'm excited to hear what you guys do. And I mean, 20 locations a year, that's going to be a huge growth model for the next decade or so. And I'm sure it's going to be more than that. Once you figure out how to do 20, you'll probably figure out how to do 30. So it's just, it's nothing but on the way up from here.
I hope so, yeah.
Ron, if people want to reach out, they want to find out more about either the franchise or just using the company itself as a moving company, how can they do that?
Yes, really easy. pinkzebramoving.com is our consumer site. If you really are interested in the franchise opportunity as an investment for you, we're available across the country, even in Hawaii and Alaska. And so it's easy to find information. It's pinkzebramovingfranchise.com. So either one of those sites, you'll find out more and more about us. So if you want to hire us, or if you actually want to go into business and learn how to build your own Pink Zebra Moving franchise, we'd love to talk to you. We have people that take those calls and take you through a sales process. And it's really fun getting to meet people who have similar dreams as I do. Every entrepreneur is different, but at the same time, we're all the same in that we have big dreams, and we hope the business is the tool, the mechanism for those dreams to come true.
Heck yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have fun on your next move, I know that sentence doesn't make any sense, but that's what Ron's telling us here. If you want to have fun on your next move, make sure you guys check out pinkzebramoving.com, pinkzebramoving.com. If you're interested in starting a franchise and you're kind of shopping a couple different ones, check out pinkzebramovingfranchise.com and find out a little more about what Ron and his team has to offer. Ron, thank you very much for being on the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're
See you later. Thank you.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.bi